Hey, last week I promised you I'd break down the subdivisions that are selling within weeks versus the subdivisions that are taking months to sell. I got that data today, so stand by and enjoy this video. And hey, if you live in Sunita, Rancho Mirage Estates, Desert Cedars, you're going to like this news. And hey, if you live inside of Glen Wilde, Alterra South, or Rancho El Dorado, the golf course community here in the city of Maricopa, you want to listen to this news before you list your home. Here is the full breakdown. There are three numbers that tell you the whole entire story this week on this topic. 40 days is how quick homes are selling or sitting in the quickest, busiest, fastest selling subdivisions off of this data, and 156 days in the slowest ones. And sadly, roughly $36,000 lost people selling in some of these subdivisions. And so we want to dive in and learn how to position your home to be one of the ones that sell the quickest and for the most, and the smoothest and the happiest. And those three numbers, they happen to be in the same zip code, the same buyers within the last 30 days. Isn't that interesting? Things that make you go, And I'm going to show you exactly where each of these neighborhoods fall in this list, so you have at least an understanding of the subdivisions, and maybe these are your subdivisions and how they're going to impact you for the positive or the negative. I work the city of Maricopa, helping homeowners sell their homes week in, week out, not just at the city level, but at the granular finite subdivision level, northwest, southeast, swimming pool, basement, single story, 2-story, 5 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms. Get their home sold quickly and for top dollar. And what you're about to see comes from the last 30 days of data. I pulled it on Sunday, 30 days back. It's going to cover the active, the under contract, the expired, the canceled, the sold, the whole 9 yards. This data is pulling in. They give you sound, logical information that you can use. And if you want this drilled even further down to a particular address, say your address, the link is below in the description and in the comment area. Just click on it, get it started, become one of our other happy sellers or informed homeowners. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'm here to help. At the time I pulled this data, there was 399 active listings in the MLS. In the same period of time, there are 39 canceled or expired listings that came off the market. That's roughly 10% of the homes. Someone said, hey, I tried and I couldn't sell my home. Something was wrong with the process. And that's it. They're gone. That's huge. 10% of the market gone. They sat in the market for 125 days, and roughly 61% of those people who canceled had already cut their price and their home did not sell. So last month, basically 438 homes were on the market where there are buyers scrolling through them, looking at homes for sale. 10% of them ultimately roughly came out off the market. That's why we're at 399. 39 of them came off the market from the 438. Those homes taking price adjustment decreases, staying on the market a long time, can be your neighbors. They're sitting next to you, around you, so forth. And that is a huge impact in this market. Now, what does this all mean for a homeowner, a home seller here in the city of Maricopa? The citywide average days on market is roughly 85 days right now off of this data. But that number honestly almost means nothing when it comes to you individually. Ultimately, what matters is the number tied to your neighborhood, to your subdivision, right? That's what matters. And then down to the granular level to a home just like yours. Because remember, that number's hiding two very important numbers, 40 days on market and 156 days on market. Same zip code, different average days on market. And this is where it comes down to reading market data points that are going to be a different subdivision than yours, a different zip code than yours, going citywide on the numbers. And for some people, going even further than that, right? Countywide, going up into the Phoenix metro market. What matters is right down to your subdivision. Now, the great news, the good news, the amazing news from a national standpoint, we're just talking all the way down granular subdivision down to your home. Nationally, things are starting to pick up. The Iran war, can't say it's stalling out, but the impact, the scared impact of the mortgage side of things they're loosening up. And this has buyers back in a big way. Pending homes nationally, just over 80,000 this week when I was pulling the numbers. That's up over 18% compared to the same week last year. And mortgage applications are up 10% week over week. Same process. Things are looking better. Couldn't hold back, even getting better. 12% better than last year for mortgage applications. And with that said, buyers are out there, pre-approved, pre-qualified, ready to buy a home. And hopefully that's your home if your home's on the market or you're thinking about getting your home on the market. The interesting facts, though, let's take this back granular. Let's go back to the micro level to your city, our city here, City of Maricopa, 85138, 85139, to your subdivision to know the facts on how those buyers are choosing what subdivision to purchase in. And the numbers, they're a big spread. They're a big difference. They're going to different neighborhoods, specific neighborhoods, right? They're going to a select group of neighborhoods. And I'm going to show you those neighborhoods. Rancho Mirage Estates, 16 active listings, 40 days average on market. 50% of those sold at list price or higher. That is the best win out of mid-size subdivisions out of this data that I pulled. Desert Cedars is up next. 5 active listing, average days on market, 45 days. And only 20%, 1 out of 5 homes have had price decreases in that subdivision out of this data. Besides the 5 active listings, they have 3 pending listings right now. This subdivision has one of the lowest price reductions in the data points from my data. Sunita is up next. 19 active listings in Senita, 59 days on market. And I want you to pay attention to this number. 20%, 21% of their homes have had price adjustments, price cuts, so forth, inside of Sunita. That's huge, that number, for a large, big subdivision. That 21% is low, super amazing. This tells me that sellers are going in at this thing correctly, strategically, pricing it right, condition, the media, the whole 9 yards, and buyers are meeting them to do business. And Sunita at this time, when I pulled up the data, had 3 pending listings. Santa Rosa Springs is up next. 23 active listings, average 72 days on market, with 3 pending sales. Maricopa Meadows is up next, with 20 active listings, 74 days on average for days on market, with 9 closed listings for the month. It's pretty good for a subdivision with 9 closed listings. 44% of those listings sold at list or above. The Villages at Rancho El Dorado is up next. There's 27 listings at the time I pulled this data. 41% cut rate, decreasing, adjusting pricing. 6 pending contracts. 4 homes sold in this 30-day period, giving a median price about $425,000 for the subdivision with a 50% win rate. Now let's dive into what these subdivisions, these winning subdivisions, have in common. To me, the biggest takeaway from it is the low price cut rates. They're not having to cut a lot of pricing. They're pricing it more leaning towards the correct price for the market versus what I call pie in the sky, an imaginary number that shouldn't exist. The data, the raw data, the information tells us where you should price your home. It's not that each home is identical. They could be looking identical. They could be a 1537 square foot home that is a 4-bedroom and a den, or not 4 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms and a den and a great room layout, and both have no swimming pools, but one could have $20,000 worth of tile throughout. One could have been maybe a rental type thing, the original 2006 type of carpet, and just those two homes are not identical. And if you're going to try to price it with the one that has a premium flooring in it and maybe some other things, is that you're competing with that one? 100% those two homes are not competing. Can we, with some partnerships and services and tools that I have, get those two in alignment? Yes. But out of the gate, they're not in alignment. So when you go in with the right price, buyers are going to typically meet you. And with these subdivisions, it showed that very clearly. Buyers were meeting them because they weren't having to do severe price adjustments to get their home sold. The big mistake was waiting, right? Coming in at the wrong price and then waiting to see if they're going to get an offer because they're willing to haggle, right? Get me an offer, I'm willing to haggle. I have seen people do that and they're not willing to haggle too on top of it. That's a real double negative on there. Overpricing it, saying you're going to wait for the buyer to come in, negotiate. Buyer comes in, negotiates, and they just want to act as if they have a home that's premium and take away critical pieces to the offer where they end up losing that buyer. So in short, you want to price your home to sell. We are not in my lifetime, my career parts. I went through the 2005-6 type of boom and then bust, and I went through the COVID boom. These are not those boom markets. These are you better price your home to sell markets. And if you do that, it is going to most likely sell within around 30 to 45 days. You're going to be sitting very happy. Your realtor's going to look like an all-star because they assisted you on the pricing part of it. That is one of the most important pieces is pricing. Then we're talking about condition, updates, upgrades, desirability on it, the media packages, so forth. But pricing is one of the most important pieces entering the market. That is just an offering price. That's like advertising, marketing. That is not your hook price either. That's saying, hey, I'm bringing this home to market. This is off all the data points. It looks like the best offering price point to make. And then you may negotiate, right? Not all of them are 100% list and no concessions and different things. So you're going to look at the data too. The data is going to show you, especially at the MLS level, we have this home sold for this price. These are the photos and the condition of that home. This is the seller concessions that were made. If we see a bunch of them that are zeros, we know the odds are you're not going to be making seller concessions. If all of them are showing $4,500, make up a number, you're probably going to, not guaranteed, but probably going to be giving up concessions because that's what the market's saying in your neighborhood. So have you ever been in a stuck lane? This lane's just not moving. You want to get into that fast lane? Well, we just talked about the faster, quicker, better lane. Now let's get into the stuck lane right now. That didn't quite sell as fast as these other ones. Well, let's dive into that data. 10 active listings. I don't even want to say it. 156 days on average, days on market. 70% of these listings have already taken price adjustments, decreases, enhancements, whatever fancy word you want to say, the price has been adjusted. It is the highest price cut rate out of the whole entire list, 70%. Sellers have been waiting basically 5 months The average listing that I typically see and experience is, and I can see expires and data that comes up. You can say roughly 6 months, right? Someone might extend it, do it longer. Who knows what the story is? Some people might say, I only want a 90-day contract, but typically I see around 180 days. That's 6 months. So the numbers I'm sharing with you is heading towards that. These people are still waiting. Imagine you listed your home 5-6 months ago and you're still waiting for it to sell. We are saying we want to sell this. We're not just testing the market for half a year. We're here to sell that home. And we, meaning you, the seller, us, the realtors, we're here to get the home sold, not to play games with the market. The lakes at Rancho El Dorado is up next. A little bit of story that can go with this one. The lakes have the new builds still competing with them, right? There's that piece of the puzzle. That is a big piece, especially if they're offering any kind of super incentives. I've seen a bunch of people trying to sell their home who bought it in 2022, 2023, and they're trying their best to get what they bought for it. And the kicker is somewhere along the way, the builders were giving some sweetheart incentives versus lowering the price as the resales had lowered their prices. And we got some people who were in there. So some of these people may have 3% rates. And that was the incentive, while others in the resale market was maybe getting a 7% rate at a much lower price. And so there's people who bought the 2022, 2023, trying to sell it could be weighting this down. I need to dive into that data and see if some of that's inside of these numbers of data. So right now, for resale, there's 4 active listings. The average days on market for those 4 is 111 days. 75% of them. There's 4. 75% is what? 3. Easy math. Already took price adjustments, price reductions, trying to get their home sold. 0 pending at the time of this data for resale homes when I pulled it up. 1 sold listing out of this data this month. My listing sold. Great media, great everything, great seller. And for him, he had to take a loss when he sold it. Bought it at the wrong time. Great job across the country. I mean, literally to the land of snow all the way to the East Coast. And I'm going to be very serious though. Shockingly, one property closed this month in my data. What's up next? Rancho El Dorado, the original, the 2002, I think. I have to check my data point on there, but I think 2002 build. So one of the original subdivisions here. Definitely when you think about Rancho El Dorado, the golf course community, and of course we have the villages, the lakes, but we're talking about Rancho El Dorado. 90 active listings. That's a lot. If all those can sell, 90 listings. 98 days on market. 98 days on market in there. 52% of those homes have already taken price adjustments, cuts, slashes, trying to get their home sold. 90 homes is a lot of competition, right? 17 closed listings out of those 90 active listings. And almost 3 out of 4, 71%, did not get the original list price. And roughly $32,000 from the start to the finish and adjust, that they sold for less. That's pretty big. That's a real big number. In this data, 11 people, 11 sellers, 11 households decided tap out. It's enough. They either canceled or they expired during the last 30 days. And I pulled this data. Now, if you're a seller and you're competing against 90 other sellers, the sellers who won in that subdivision closed within 36 days. Not bad. Same subdivision, different results. The sellers who lost in Rancho El Dorado, 123 days on market. That is a fair amount of time. We're looking at about 4-ish months, right? At that period of time. 4 months ago, someone said, hey, excited, a home's on the market. It's going to sell. It's going to sell. Yeah. And the average for that group, right? 123 days. Some sold, some canceled, some expired. Glen Wilde is up next. 33 active listings, 89 days on average days of market. 64% price adjustments, price decreases, enhancements, price changes. 7 homes closed in this data point in the 30 days. 71% sold below market or below list. That's roughly $29,000, $30,000 below list. The sellers who won in Glen Wilde, 28 days on market. Same subdivision, different results. We still within subdivisions that are slower, more price cuts. We still have the smart homeowner sellers in those subdivisions. So it doesn't matter what subdivision you're in. It matters awareness of what subdivision you're in, because you have a lot of homes, a lot of competition, a lot of price cuts. You need to be that much more serious in there, but you can still be a winner in any subdivision. It's how you take it to market. And sellers who lost. That was my home. Realtor here. Help thousands of households sell homes. Hundreds of 5-star reviews. A, I would have priced it correct to get it sold. I'm not going to play games with the market. And B, I would have been quickly adjusting my price to getting to what I like in today's market, about 3 visits, unique visits per week to the house. Then I know that I'm in the right range of the price. Now, I really want that feedback, having understanding why I'm not getting that offer. If I'm getting about 3, we're looking good. In a healthier market, I want 1 a day, 10 and 10 days. If I don't have 10 and 10 days, price adjustment. If I have 10 and 10 days and no offer, probably price adjustment, discovery, to finding out why this home is not selling. What is that hidden thing that I missed when I was there? Because I could have went to the perfect home during the listing presentation, and then everything's a different story while it is being shown, right? Homestead, you are up next. 38 active listings, 87 days average on market, with 61% people have already done price adjustments, trying to get their home sold, trying to compete when they should have been competing when they listed it. The average amount of money lost when they sold it wrong, they presented wrong, they went to the market wrong, this subdivision, $36,000. That's a lot, right? It's so important to do the steps right to get your home sold right. Top dollar, quickest amount of time, and the smoothest possible process. Let's dive into Acacia Crossings. 8 active listings, 78 days on average on market. And 2 closed listings in the last 30 days below market. So what went wrong with these subdivisions? High days on market, massive amounts of price cuts, right? Huge amounts. Chasing the coins down the hill versus just being where you price correctly and not chasing anything down the hill. Imagine you're chasing a ball down the hill. You're going to be all the way down to the valley from the top of the mountain before you ever get to that ball, right? Don't be chasing money. Price it correctly, get it sold correctly. What are the smart buyers doing? They're seeing, hey, price adjustment, price cut. In this business, we've always had a particular group of buyers who says, it's too expensive. I'm going to wait for the market to come down, right? So we have a group who's that, and we have a group who's becoming like that because they're like, whoa, another price drop. Whoa, $10,000, bam, price adjustment. Sometimes it's $25,000, sometimes it's $5,000, sometimes it's silly, $500 or $1,000 because their agent is saying, let's reset it. And you doing nothing? Yeah, it'll be resent to the buyer pool that's out there. It's not like they're going to be like, oh my gosh, $350,000 home just reduced their price by $100. I'm going to go see that home. They're like, all right. But otherwise, we're seeing about $5,000, $10,000 If the home's getting no activity at all, we're seeing 25,000 typically like gone, getting the price down to there. So the buyers are like, no hurry. We're kind of higher on the price point. Or even though rates are coming better, they're not the 3%, so we're kind of high on the rates. Then if you look at the most critical piece of data, if the neighbor's home was identical to yours and it could be rented, about $600 to $800 less for that buyer to rent your neighbor's home than to purchase your home. You have to look at the holistic aspects of these things when you're selling your home. You need to price it, stage it, do the pre-inspections, have it ready to be sold. No game playing. You need to do it correctly from day one. Right now in today's market, I'm seeing roughly 96 cents less per dollar that you're getting when you're selling your home the wrong way, right? So $400,000 home is $16,000 less than your neighbor with identical home who sold it correctly at the right price, right condition, pre-inspections, everything. That $16,000 difference. That's huge, right? Talking about commissions and different things like that. That's more than, right, than we anticipate for the listing agent to be getting as a commission. Pricing it wrong, doing things wrong, choosing the wrong support to help you get your home sold, taking the wrong advice on how to get it sold. And we saw like Rancho El Dorado, $36,000 loss less than the list price. I don't know if I said 36, but 32,000. I had 36 in my head for Homestead. 36,000 less than the list price. Again, they're not losing because of the subdivision. They're losing because of the price point that they went in at, the strategy that they went in at, the marketing, the advertising, the staging, the pre-inspection. That's why they're losing. And it's interesting, the people who won, same subdivisions, right? 36 days on market, 100% of list or more, quickly sold it, exited out quickly. They did it quickly and for more money. Hey, if you want to know what lane your subdivision's in, your house is in, honestly, if you want to get your home in the right lane, the fast lane, the left lane, okay? No camping in the left lane. You want to get yours in the left lane, having here where they're the left lane, right lane, where you should be driving. Here with me, I want all my sellers in the left lane. I want them getting to the destination safely, quickly as possible, netting the most money as possible, happy as possible. Don't want them in the right lane, the slow lane. If you want to be in the slow lane, not your agent. If you want to sell your home for less money, not your agent. If you want to sell it quickly for more money, for top dollar, this is the guy you probably want to be speaking with, helping people just like you sell their homes quickly for more money, for top dollar here in the city of Maricopa. Thousands of households helped, hundreds of 5-star reviews. I'm the agent that wants to help you get your home sold quickly and for top dollar. And I want to leave no money on the table. I want to get every penny for you. So if you want to sell your home quickly and for more money, top dollar, in this video, I broke down a lot of subdivisions. Make sure you click the link below, fill out the data, get with me to have you learn the right way of selling your home, what we can get you for your home, the right marketing, right advertising to enhance the ability for you to sell quicker, faster, more money, top dollar, all those great words, versus slower and for less money. Next week, we're going to dive into what the home sellers are doing before they even list and while it's listed that are losing, say, $28,000, $36,000. People who are not doing it right. And we'll learn from them and get you so you know how to sell your home the right way. Because I'm here by helping you make more money, not seeing you in a position that's going to cost you money. And that's critical. So next week, stay tuned for this next video to come out. Please like, subscribe, all that fun stuff to my channel so you can see these videos, and click the link in the description and the body and get your free home value report. No, nothing negative. All good data, good stuff. And for some of you, or a lot of you, you're already in the system. You're already receiving that data point. The next step for you is reach out to me with questions, okay? Because you know you're receiving the data. I ain't bugging you. So you're more than welcome to bug me, as many of you do, which I love being bugged, and get some additional data. Even with me, just stop by your house, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. A lot of people like to chit chat with me when I'm there. I'm in no rush. I give myself plenty of time when I'm there. All the great business people say, James, you should be in a rush. Gotta get that next appointment. How about you guys? Simple as that. So I'm gonna slow up, get to know you, hopefully become friends, and I'll be always your person you can trust when it comes down to your real estate needs here in the city of Maricopa. And for the people who don't know me, I'm James Sanson. I've been selling in the city of Maricopa since 2004. I've been licensed here in Arizona since 2002. I've helped thousands of households get their homes sold just like you for a top dollar, quickest amount of time. I believe the most elite marketing advertising tools and services I provide, like Zillow Showcase, enhanced experience, and not just Zillow Showcase. That's just one important feature. We're doing the 3D walking tours, the videos, the social media, Instagram, Facebook, paid, organic, digital, open houses, mega open houses, the old school stuff still with the print, and getting your house fully out there and strategically having understanding where our buyers are coming from for the city of Maricopa and making sure I get extra data out there to them intentionally. That's where the digital comes in. For example, with like Google pay-per-click, YouTube pay-per-click ultimately, and getting them in front of them. If they're coming from Oregon, Washington, California, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Illinois, so forth here, looking for a home just like yours, I'm getting it out there in front of them. That's where my commission compensation, those tools are able to be afforded because of that. So I want to make sure sell your home quickest, fastest, top dollar. So click the link below and let's get to know each other.